Hi, Jack Malcolm here, and I'm continuing my series on professional sales education. In the first of the series, I talked about 4 selling skills books that every B2B sales professional needs to function when they're face-to-face with a customer. But now, if you're a B2B complex sales professional, by definition, you're dealing with a complicated product, you're dealing with a long sales cycle, and you're dealing with a lot of people in the decision-making process, which means that you also need a process and a strategy and an overarching approach if you truly want to succeed. And as you can see here, I've got a ton of books that have been written throughout the years about sales process. I'm going to recommend the top 4. The first one, and this one is sitting on top of all the others because it's actually the granddaddy of them all. Consultative Selling by Mac Hannon was written all the way back in 1970. And it quite simply is the most influential sales book that's ever been written. Certainly for me personally, and I believe for you too as well. And the reason I say that is Mac Hannon was the first person who started writing about what we take for granted today as almost as a cliche, is that selling is not about your product, it's about transferring value to your customers and about showing how to improve their profits and positioning yourself as a true consultant to their business. So it almost sounds like, well, yeah, this is so obvious, but very few people still do it today. This is still an excellent book today. The second book, and this is much newer, but it really took the sales world by storm in 2011. And one of the reasons was that it brought new insights to people that you hadn't thought of. And that actually is what challengers do. They come to their customers, they provide fresh insights. It's based on a ton of research. It's by Matthew Dixon and Brent Adamson. And the key insight here is that there are a number of different types of salespeople. Most of us think that relationship salespeople are the ones who do best in a complex sale. And based on their research, they found that relationship salespeople take a distant backseat to challenger salespeople. The problem is that not that relationships are bad, but relationships are the result of a good selling process and not the cause. A lot of relationship salespeople, they're too nice and they don't want to tell the customer things they don't want to hear. A challenger will come in and tell customers things that they may not want to hear, but they definitely need to hear. So the best challengers know how to teach the customer new things, they know how to tailor their solution, and they know how to take control of the sales process. I challenge you to read this book, and I think you're going to be much more successful if you do. The third one is the newest one of them all. It's by Dave Stein and Steve Anderson. It's called Beyond the Sales Process. The key insight of this book is that most salespeople focus their selling process on the meat of the selling cycle, which is when there's a live sales opportunity, that pursuit. That's the win part. But a ton of time, in fact, the vast majority of the time, your customer is not actively working on a sales or a buying opportunity. So the stuff that you do beforehand to engage the customer, to pre-position yourself as a trusted advisor, is going to put you in a much better position when the actual sales opportunity comes up. And what you do after the sale to continue to grow the relationship and position yourself for further sales is going to save you a lot of time in the long run, and it's going to vastly increase your revenues. Now, the fourth book on here, and yep, I'm biased on this one, of course, but whether you're consultative selling, whether you're challenger selling, whether you're doing any of the other kinds of selling that it says in here, you still need to connect your solution to measurable business improvements for your customers. That means that you need to understand how their business works. You need to understand the language of their financial statements so that you can credibly talk the language to high-level decision makers. This is the book that will help you to do that. People in my classes have said that when I teach the class, it's like a mini MBA for salespeople. So those 4 books will put you in a position to win consistently over the long term, and that's what makes for a true sales professional.